a lot of travellers want to do when they go to South America is go to the salt flats, and that was on our list of things to do. And we decided that because we were moving north, the best thing to do was go from the top of Chile, the kind of the Atacama Desert, and we were going to do the salt flat tour and then end up further north in Bolivia and then carry on moving. So it worked out really well for us, and that was a really cool trip. And we had another border control issue where we got to the border and we hadn't printed off, again, our COVID vaccine passports this time. But I'd downloaded it on my phone. But the guy basically said we needed to have these printed off. And so we pull up to this border and we set off at 4 a.m. We've already been driving for 3 hours. We get to this border and he says, "You got your forms?" And I said, "No, we've not got them." And he said, "What do you mean? Did the lady in the office tell you?" I said, "No, she didn't tell us." So I can see him panicking, thinking, "No, this is going to be a nightmare now trying to sort this out for these two people." So I'm thinking, they're not going to let us in. We're stuck. Again, we're in the same position, stuck in the middle of the mountains on the border of Bolivia. And literally this border control was a little shed in the middle of the desert. And there was just a signpost that said, "Welcome to Bolivia." And you kind of jump over a line in the sand and that's it, you're in a new country. And we're waiting outside this shed. And I heard this American lad with a Man United shirt on saying, "Oh, I've not got my form. What am I going to do?" And his guide, that was going to be his guide for the next 3 days on his trip, basically told him, like, "Keep quiet, I'll do all the talking." And he came out of the shed and I said, "How did you get on, mate?" And he said, "Just get your guide to do all the talking and keep quiet. Pretend you can't speak any Spanish and you don't understand what they're saying and he'll sort you out." So we go into this border control and I'm stood there with Connie and our guide comes up and he starts trying to sweet talk this bloke, the security guy. And he's explaining to him that we've not got our forms. "Can you just take a picture of their like ID?" And the guy's like deliberating it. And then in the end, he gets the CCTV camera and he turns it away, takes a picture on his phone and just gives it to us. And our guide smiles at us and we walk off. And I'm kind of like, phew. Because there's nothing we could have done at that point. We'd have been stuck in Chile now for however long, not able to cross the border. And we get across this border and we're in like a Toyota, like RAV4, 4x4, off-roading basically for 3 days, seeing the most unbelievable scenery. It was so cool. We went, through canyons. We went to see geysers really high up. All these lakes, there was these amazing lakes surrounding these mountains and they were all different colours because they had different minerals in them. So there was a green lake, the first one we saw, and it was covered in flamingos. These pink flamingos fly every year to that lake for the minerals that's in the water. And there was red lakes and all sorts. And we just had the best few days. And then the last day was going to be the salt flats tour. So we wake up dead early to get to sunrise. So we wake up at like 4 a.m. We were staying in a salt hotel. So the whole hotel was made out of salt, which was really cool. And it was the first day I think we got a shower as well. And so we got up at 4, crack of dawn with all our bags on top of the 4x4. The people we were traveling with, we had 3 like Spanish exchange students and an English lad called Ed, who was absolutely brilliant. He was hilarious. And I made really good friends with him. And I spent 3 days just talking to him and having a great time. And he was pretty much the first English person we'd met on our whole trip. So it was really nice just to speak English with someone. And it was great. And, you could have I'd missed that sarcastic humour that we have as Brits. So that was really good to just, kind of take the mick out of, the trip and the whole thing and just make a joke of it all. So we hit the salt flats and we're like driving breakneck speed to try and get there for the sunrise, and we go out and it literally looks like a different planet. It is incredible. And we got loads of photos. We got loads of cool photos with Connie. We tried to do the classic photos, where somebody's in the foreground, someone's in the distance. We tried to get Connie throwing me up to do a somersault and stuff. And Ed, bless him, helped us for like half an hour lying on the floor trying to line these photos up. And we kind of did it. We didn't quite get it right. But we just had a great time that day, and seeing the salt flats was incredible. And it was really cool because a lot of these trips that we went on, I just thought, you'll see the salt flats and the other days will be filler, but they really weren't. Like, some of the things we were seeing were just breathtaking. Like, it's impossible to almost describe them. And seeing like wildlife, just really wild. You know, there was no like safaris or tour guides. It was just the animals you saw, they just lived there and they were wild, and it was amazing seeing like llamas and alpacas in their natural habitat and stuff, and just walking next to them and seeing these incredible things. It was beautiful. You know, it was almost like a Lord of the Rings type. When you see the scenery in Lord of the Rings in New Zealand, it was a bit like that. It was amazing.